All right, guys. So what he do? So we're back with another video reaction. We're reacting today to a video of Chael Sonnen. It says retire the BMF belt along with Dustin Poirier. Interesting. Let's check it out. I already started a little bit.
Coin would bounce all over, and now it's a little bit more steady. Because strong hands remained, we got a lot of the weak hands out. I'm only bringing this to you. I don't want all of you having access to me anymore. I've been way too generous with my time. And as an expert in the sport, right? I'm not coming over here for me. I already have the information. I'm not coming over to make predictions for myself. I already know. I am on the inside. When I tell you I don't know, of course I know. How would I not know? I don't want all of you. I got a lot of you gotta get. How do I make that less convenient for you to be here? So here's what I get confronted with. They're putting the BMF title up. Okay? Now they're putting the BMF title up, which is news that was confirmed over the weekend, but that you got from me 28 days ago. And they're putting it up in Lafayette, which is news that you got over the weekend, but that I told you 28 days ago.
But well, I ain't gonna lie. Bro. I made a bunch of videos where I said that this fight would happen. Like I wasn't surprised when I saw the news. Like I already knew that this fight would happen between Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway for the BMF title, and plus, I was kind of expecting it to be at New Orleans because it will be Dustin's last fight. It will be Dustin's last fight. So yeah.
Going to have a farewell fight from the great Dustin Poirier, and he is going to take on his multiple-time nemesis, fan favorite, and reigning BMF champion, Max Holloway. Information that was confirmed on the Pat McAfee show on Friday, and information that I gave you 28 days ago. And now you have the audacity to ask me if putting up the BMF belt is the right move. And not because you don't respect the belt, but because you run the risk that the belt gets retired if Dustin Poirier can get the jump on Max Holloway, who you reminded me, he's already got the jump on twice before.
Oh, really?
Right. Now,
but okay, so if Dustin Poirier wins the belt against Max, so the belt will just disappear. I don't think it works like that. I don't think it works like that. Because Jorge Masvidal won that belt, and then after that, he retired, and they just made another fight for the BMF title between Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje, and Justin Gaethje won. So, yeah.
The reason that I need you, you gotta go.
The BMF belt will still stay in the UFC, in my opinion.
And I need respect.
Well,
and what I can
logically,
tell is that you come here and then you go somewhere else. And you come and you get the accurate information from a genius like me, who doesn't owe it to you, and then you go get it from an idiot on the outside, and then you get confused. That's weak hands. I don't want the weak anymore. I only want the strong. I want the students that come along with Professor Chael to be strong. And the number one thing that I will have my students, you, that are still remaining, I'm going to block a lot of you, by the way. This is going to be goodbye to it. I'm going to go through and I'm going to get rid of you. But until I do that...
Don't block me, please.
How come Max is the BMF champion? Man, how did he do that? He was 145 pounds, and the BMF was only contested in one weight class, which is 170, and it was held by George Masvidal, and I don't remember Max and George fighting, but they must have, according to you. According to you, who had the audacity to ask me, who told you about the fight in the first place, is the BMF title going to be gone?
No,
Well, then,
it won't
for
be.
you to have to ask that question, you gotta connect Masvidal and Max. And when you think about that for a very short period of time, you will realize those two never fought. And the reason and the way and the ability that the BMF title got placed at 155 pounds is because George Masvidal retired. He retired with the belt. So the
He
belt
retired
being
with
on
the
the
belt, but they
line,
still made
Dustin retiring,
a
and the
fight.
belt retiring have nothing historically to do with one another.
Exactly.
It actually creates a fantastic opportunity. You're seeing this same opportunity right now with Alex Pereira. I just haven't told you it yet. I haven't told you because I haven't got around to it. But your idea that Pereira and Uncle Live are going to rematch because you heard that. Well, Pereira became a 205 pounder because he lost at 185.
Hey, but quick question: do y'all think they should add a second belt, a second BMF belt in another division, like the light heavyweight division or even the heavyweight division? Because I remember John Jones, you know, he had an idea that he wanted to fight Stipe, and then he wanted to make a super fight between him and Alex Pereira for a BMF belt. I mean, this could have been huge, but will the UFC allow to add a second BMF belt to another division? This could be interesting.
Not because he cleaned out the division. So Pereira's chance to become a heavyweight is now.
But will it happen?
I guess I'll save it as a tease for another day.
When will he move to the heavyweight
If we
division?
take a look at the BMF belt. Now, the number one thing that we should have done is we should have contested it the last time the BMF champion fought. Ilia Topuria right now, new in a division and cannot find himself a title fight, should have a title. He should be the BMF champion, but he's not. So we're going to put that belt up for grabs. Now, this is a tremendous sign of respect. When is the last time that the company...
Well, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Ilya and Max fight for the title, but, I feel like they also had to put the BMF belt on the line. Like winner takes all. But I don't know why they did not do it.
And they booked a venue in his hometown, particularly when it had never been done before. The UFC has never played Lafayette, Louisiana. They're going to do it just for Poirier. A guy they're saying goodbye to. Nobody gets to go out on top. Dustin Poirier gets an opponent that he has not only beaten at one weight class, he's beaten at two weight classes. And Dustin Poirier gets to fight for a belt. That is the ultimate sign of respect that I've ever seen from this industry. The UFC is not overly likely to tell you good job. They're not over likely to pat you on the back and tell you thank you. But they will show you their appreciation, and they are showing it to Dustin Poirier. But if Dustin is to let history repeat, and he's to beat Max, and he's to leave with the BMF belt. Yeah. Those of you that love the BMF belt should not feel as though your title just got retired. Not by what we already know historically. What you should do is feel an excitement for the possible matchups that you could have.
But
now,
I've been saying that since the beginning. I feel like making a fight between Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway was just the best option, especially for his last fight, against, and he said legends only. Right now, the only legend that, was kind of making sense for him was Max. I mean, also Justin could have been dope, just to end the trilogy, but Max, it's also dope because he's the BMF champion, and, like I said before in many of my videos, if Dustin win the BMF champion, this is just a perfect ending scenario for his career. So
people, they're going to try to put that in the women's division, and they're going to pretend like they want it there. They don't. They just don't know how to say they don't want it there. I'm just prepping you for that. And you're going to have a whole bunch of people who are going to say you should look at all weight classes and 25 and 35. Now, they don't want it there, and they don't mean it. They feel like they should say that. But there is some massive opportunity with that belt, and that belt is very coveted from the guys in the back. And I also predict as we move forward in time, it'll be even more coveted because of its rarity. And a lot of that just comes from as an Olympic fan and studying the history of the Olympic Games. Those were jokes. Those were things these medals, and there's 3 different colors, and you put them on, you all go to the bar, and you pass the picture around. It wasn't a big thing. My uncle has one from 1964. He told me 1964 wasn't that long ago. He told me, he said, Chael, the Olympics as you know today, that's not what it is back then. When I got drafted and found out I was on that team, man, I did everything I could do to get off of that team, and he ended up being the star of the team. He was literally the captain of the team, but he just said it was a different time. And I'm only sharing for you that the BMF's a really big deal, and I don't think the BMF is going to go anywhere, but I am irritated that you would suggest it would go somewhere based on the one piece of history with that belt that you have, which is the champion retires. And the belt did not stay retired. So you suggesting it did is because you're channel hopping. You come to the great Chael, who never gets it wrong, brings you inside information, and then you go to some other dum-dum, and you get confused throughout the day. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to find a way to find you. I'm going to find a way to stop you from coming. You don't deserve to be with me.
Alright, so that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel, and see you next time.